Today's gonna be a really busy day, so I thought I'd bring you along for the ride. It's Thursday, so we're releasing a new version of our game today, which means I'm gonna have to crunch to get the last few features done. Other than that, I also have a fair bit of my maintenance work to do in my previous job. There's some accounting that's gone wrong, so that needs fixed ASAP. You're actually a little late. I started out the day by walking my dog and picking up these new 3D printer filament packages. I got my printer running like crazy. I am 3D printing some merch that we're gonna hand out at a convention I'm going to. It's a virtual reality convention, so a lot of people are going to be wearing these headsets. So we're going to hand out these faceplates that you can just click on and off your headset. I just broke one of them. Kidding me? Damn. So what's the plan for today? I'm going to start out by doing a bit of writing. It is something I am trying to do to both clear my head and to also create some better content. Then I'm going to do my previous maintenance work because, you know, eat the frog, do the boring thing first. And then after that, I'm going to start the crunch on our VR app. Today's game update is going to include a freemium model. So with this new update, free players can play one scenario a week for free. So the idea is they hopefully stick long enough to eventually upgrade, or as we take away the previous week's scenario, that was a scenario that they really loved, so that they're going to upgrade to get that back. It is now 3 hours later. A few things happened. First of all, the brain dump thinking writing session ended up going a bit crazy. I was trying to get a bit more clarity on the subject of things you don't want to do that actually serve you, versus things you don't want to do that don't serve you. So let's take having hard conversations as an example. It's something that most people don't really want to do, but having them does serve you. But if you don't like cleaning your apartment, that doesn't necessarily serve you to do. You can have someone else do it for you. And thinking about this made me remember a podcast I was listening to yesterday by Dan Koe. He was talking about the map of all knowledge and how to think like a genius. He specifically talked about a framework with 4 quadrants. The idea of this framework is to stop you from latching onto the first small conclusion you come to. So it forces you to think about your intentional thoughts, like what are your values, your behavior, what does that show you about this question you're trying to answer. It also goes into what does society want from you, because that also affects how you think. And finally, it also goes into your social circle, so your friends and the internet and what kind of influences you. So I decided to go down this framework a bit because I do have some big questions in life right now that I'm trying to answer. And while I'm not entirely clear yet, it is already really giving. Now, the less optimal part is that I should have jumped from this thinking exercise directly into the maintenance work. However, my ADHD brain had a stroke of genius of a new way of marketing our game, so I ended up doing that for a while. I'm kind of torn on whether it was the correct choice. I do believe that sometimes when this pull towards something happens, it is insanely valuable for me and I do produce some really good stuff. I also do believe what I produced now was pretty good. So I'm happy with the results, but it is not what I plan to do. However, the most important thing for me right now is just being aware of it. So I'll grab some lunch now, and then after that, it's maintenance time. It is now really late. I ended up getting too deep in the work and forgot to record anything. It is almost 11 and I'm just finishing up the last features in the update. So I'm gonna test it, get it live, and then head to bed. Oh, and also edit this video.